I want to welcome you to another Mindful Monday. I'm Arika Trimnell, and today we will embark on a spiritual journey, understanding the exploration of grief and loss. It's really this time of year where we start reflecting on our goals for this year, start thinking about 2024 and our New Year's resolution. What will our goals be? And oftentimes that's based on what we did or did not accomplish. Now, during this time, it is definitely normal to have some grief around goals, situations, um, relationships, things that we thought would come to fruition that didn't come to fruition, or at least not yet. And that's what I want to talk about today is really understanding grief and loss, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Grief truly in its essence is a profound spiritual teacher. And I can't stress that enough because with grief, it really plunges us into the depths of our souls. It asks us to confront our deepest fears and our most profound attachments. And lastly, but not least, it is really a true understanding of life itself when we really start to explore grief in its full dynamic possibilities. And one of the things that I've uncovered when it comes to grief is that at the core of grief is really love. It's a reflection of love because it's it's a loss. It's the heart's response to loss. And within it lies a profound opportunity for spiritual growth, transformation, and enlightenment. So every single tear you shed is not in vain. Every single moment of sorrow, of anguish, of despair, the weight of grief is really a step forward in the process of self-discovery and the spiritual awakening or ascension process. And with thinking about the spiritual landscape of things, grief is not just about loss. It is about transformation. Think of it like the phoenix rising from the ashes. You and I both get reborn in this grief process. It's a rebirth not only um, of our mind, maybe the way we thought things should have been, but it is a rebirth of the next level of who we will be moving forward. And I'm not saying this as a way to really kind of mitigate the pain, but it's about acknowledging the incredible capacity that you and I have to learn, to grow, and most importantly, to endure this process, to understand it completely and fully. So we are all phoenixes during whatever phase of grief we find ourselves in today, rising up from the ashes and soaring to new heights, to new levels of being. Now, there are a few ways to embrace grief when I am working with clients or doing workshops. One of my favorite ways is a release ritual, or I like to have or tell people, hey, have a release party, get your friends together and have a release party. And this is really a symbolic moment of letting go of the pain and embracing the peace. This can be something as simple as writing a letter to whom or what you've lost and really expressing the full range of emotions that you feel during that process, after it, about it, everything that surrounds it. And then at the end of that, burning it and releasing to accept the present moment as you find it. Now, this is incredibly supportive to do, not just by yourself, but, have some friends along for the ride because we are all struggling on some level with grief and where we thought we could have, should have, would have been at this point in our lives or year. Another way is a mindful reflection. Just meditate on where you find yourself in life. Think about where you thought you would be and allow yourself to fully express the range of emotions. Now, I like to coach people on this and use music. Use mindful movement as a way to process the grief out of your body so it doesn't stay stagnant in you and you carry it forth as another pattern as you try to manifest as another pattern in life, or worse, illness. That can be a hindrance because our body remembers these things. Our body remembers when we go through sadness or go through trauma. And so by allowing yourself to truly have a mindful moment where you're reflective of it, or take time to listen to some music and think about the situation and allow your body to move in whatever way is supportive to help process that grief is truly important. Now, another way that you can use to really embrace the transformation that grief has is gratitude. Now, not to be confused with toxic positivity, but really thinking about the silver lining. In all of our sorrow, there are things to be grateful of. And sometimes it could be hindsight, like, oh, thank God I'm not in that relationship anymore because I could have been XYZ, right? This really can be challenging for folks. But I encourage you to step up to the challenge because it's incredibly healing when you're able to find moments of gratitude, even in your sorrow. It's not about being super happy. Again, it's not about the toxic positivity. And it's not about denying that there is pain in the grief, but it's being grateful for the lesson, for the teaching, for the opportunity that you thought would have been good, but what wouldn't have been good for you at this moment of your life. It really helps us to appreciate the transient beauty and the ebbs and flows of life and allow us to be more aligned in that flow and the connections that we have. Now, as I mentioned earlier, community sharing these things is super important. Sharing all in grief. And I say this because during this time, you will not believe the amount of people who are going through a grieving process, whether somebody has actually physically transitioned to the other side or the situation, a layoff, a love that's no longer in our lives. We're all going through it on some level. And so it's so powerful to be able to connect and heal with others and share our experiences and find mutual understanding and collective strength and the sense of bonding you get from community when you do this in partnership with other people. So through grief and and loss, you can find hope, and that could be your gratitude as to support people who are around you. It's a challenging time, but it can be deeply transformative, and it invites us to understand a deeper meaning of our lives and connect more profoundly to our spiritual selves, egos out of the picture, and we can connect to the true essence of who we are at its core. Now, as you navigate grief and think about, the rest of your week, or you let this kind of resonate with your soul or soul, remember that it is a journey. It's a journey. It's a process to deeply understand yourself, to understand the spiritual awakening process. And you're not alone on this journey. Together, we all can find meaning and strength in this deeply transformative process. Let me know if this was helpful for you. That was my intention. If you've got any other tips and tricks to deal with grief and loss and the shoulda, woulda, couldas during this time, please comment below and let's share as a community because we are in this together. When my light shines, that means I'm able and to shine it out to others, and it gives you permission to shine your light. So the more we are able to shine our light together, the greater impact that we will have on this world. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a beautiful week. Know that my heart is with you and grieving right alongside with you. Bye.